I got too much Monta.
Hey, what's up? So, welcome to episode 6 of the Too Much Monday podcast with Max Levy. And we have a lot to talk about because we've been away for a bit.
Yeah, we have because of me traveling to a certain city that involves the NBA.
Right. Yeah, you've been to Vegas for the
Yep.
Summer League, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Seeing those games in person is sometimes excruciating, but that Kings game, versus the Mavs, was about the best thing I've seen in person in a couple weeks because I haven't been to a Wings game since like a little while ago now, like before July.
Right, yeah. So we didn't even get to talk about the NBA Finals, I don't think, because our last prediction was that the Bucks would be in the finals. I mean, that was my prediction. Did you have that as well?
I'm almost certain I had that as my prediction.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird in hindsight. Like I remember us talking about how the Bucks were such a better matchup and we're gonna win easily, which was kind of because of Marcus Gasol, I remember.
I think, yeah, it was partially because of that, but I think I just thought they would utilize Giannis in a more versatile ways.
Yeah.
Because, being honest with you, I didn't really see that many possessions where he was used as a role man, which I found surprising. Like, you can only ask a guy that can't shoot to handle the ball so much in a pick and roll offense in half court.
Yeah.
So, with Giannis, he's big enough, long enough, quick enough, strong enough that you can legitimately run him as the 5 in a pick and roll, and you'd probably be pretty effective, especially because Giannis is somewhat capable as a playmaker. So you can have him playmake on the catch on his rolls.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't happen more, like you said. Yeah, and the same goes for LeBron, I guess. Like he doesn't screen as often as he does playmake, right?
Yeah, no, like the closest example would be like Jokic,
Yeah,
or I think Kevin Love did it a little back in Cleveland.
right, yeah.
Except Jokic can do it both ways, even though he's just a big rumbling force.
And I think you could run pick and roll with Luka basically as well. Maybe Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, Kevin
I
Durant,
think
like all those
the
guys probably, right?
I think Luka might not be quick enough to do that.
I
Like
guess
as a
so, yeah.
roller.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I don't know, sir, he's not going to be useful as a roller because he doesn't have enough lift.
yeah.
So he's not a threat on the roll. So therefore, the playmaking is kind of reduced in effectiveness with him being the roller.
Yeah, that is true.
I
Yeah.
mean, it would be very useful for him to run and pick and pop, but
Sure, I guess they could do that more. Yeah.
But outside of that, like you can't run Luka in a pick and roll as the roller because it's gonna be not difficult enough to defend. The only way it's difficult to defend is if you have him short roll and then take a mid range, but that's exactly what Luka doesn't want to do.
Right, yeah. I mean, so anyway, it was kind of surprising in a way that the Raptors made it, but I mean, Kawhi Leonard is just really good. Like, it surprised me how well he played.
I wasn't surprised that he played that well. I was more surprised by Fred VanVleet, honestly.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah,
If
for
Fred
sure.
VanVleet doesn't shoot 80, wasn't it like 80% from the field and like
Wow.
70% from 3 or something? Just stupid.
Wow, that's insane. I didn't even
Here,
know that. Wow.
it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know that. Here, let me look it up. 2019 Eastern Conference Finals. But And if Eric Bledsoe doesn't shoot like 20% from the field, then the Bucks come out on top of that series regardless of Kawhi.
Yeah.
I thought Bledsoe wasn't going to be that great, but I didn't think he was going to be horrendous, and Fred VanVleet was going to rise to like god tier.
Yeah. And now they don't have Malcolm Brogdon anymore as well, so that's gonna be a problem maybe.
They don't have Brogdon, but I guess they signed Wes Matthews.
Right, yeah. Who's also a great playmaker.
He's such a great playmaker, right? And he's such
Yeah,
a great scorer out of post-ups, yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, so Fred VanVleet shot. Oh, it was because it was 57% from three,
Wow. That's pretty freaking good. Yeah.
and he took like over half of his shots were threes, like 28 out of 45 of his shots were threes.
Wow.
So his true shooting for that series was 64%.
Wow. So honestly, shouldn't he like isn't it like maybe better if he starts over Lowry?
No,
Okay.
because Lowry's like a better basketball player in like every single way except for shooting.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. I mean,
No, he is.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
better defender. He's more intelligent on the court. He's a better playmaker. He's a better creator.
Right. Could
He's
they play
all those
together
things.
maybe? Or should Van Vliet
Isn't
just come
Kyle
off the
Lowry like
bench?
isn't Kyle Lowry like 6'2"?
Yeah, 6'1", I guess.
I don't think he's 6'1". He's at least 6'2".
Okay.
He plays like a combo guard, like on defense,
Right, yeah,
defensively.
yeah, yeah.
He says he listed at 6'1". I don't believe it. Either that or he plays above his size. But damn it, he looks bigger on the court than 6'1". Like,
I think he looks kind of small, but I guess so.
well, I mean, 6'2" isn't that much bigger. But anyway, you don't want two guys sub 6'3" starting in your backcourt.
Right.
That's not happening.
I mean,
Speak.
Danny Green is gone, so I guess Norman Powell will start again.
No, OG.
Oh, gee, right. Isn't he more like a small forward though?
I mean, he is, but like, what are your options?
Right. So Siakam plays power forward then probably,
He has to.
or maybe they start Ibaka again. I guess
They're
that.
not starting Ibaka and Gasol and then sitting Siakam. That is about the most
No,
ridiculous
no,
thing.
but like that Siakam plays small forward was my idea.
I don't think that would work purely because the shooting would have to improve so much.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So who plays the small forward position then?
If you start OG at 2, then I don't know. I know they filled out their
Oh,
roster with some
yeah,
other
yeah,
new
yeah.
guys.
Ronnie Hollis Jefferson they signed.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
he could
terrible.
start.
No,
Yeah. Right.
just
They signed
no.
some other players. Let me look it up.
Here, let me just look up Toronto Raptors and see what their current roster is because I don't know who they signed
Sure.
this offseason
Sure.
at all. Oh, I know they signed Kanate on a two-way, which is a huge sleeper right there.
Okay.
Their roster's kind of empty right now.
Right.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4.
They did sign another small forward. I just can't remember who it was.
Is it Malcolm Miller?
No, it was a pretty decent name. Like,
Well, I'm looking at their 2019-20 roster, and apparently, it's not. It's not like it's just empty.
right. So it's not really final yet, I guess.
Let me check like Spot Rec or something and see if they have somebody who they signed or whatever. All right, teams. Toronto. All right, let's find out.
Oh, Stanley
Oh.
Johnson they got.
Oh, that's just as bad. That's also
I guess
bad.
so.
That is bad. No, it's bad.
He could start potentially though, I
No, just overruled. No,
guess.
no, no,
I
he could
guess.
not.
All right.
Are you surprised that Patrick McCaw got a 2-year, $8 million deal?
I guess yeah. I guess that's a bit much.
It is.
Yeah, for the Raptors or for some other team.
Raptors. You're
Right,
going back to the Raptors and getting
right.
paid.
I mean, they have money to spend, I guess.
I mean, I think they might start Matt Thomas at two guard, honestly.
I guess so, yeah.
You saw who that was, right?
Not sure though.
I think he's like Liga ACB best shooter by like a mile.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that could work probably.
I don't know how about, I haven't watched him play, so.
So, what did you think about, well, the Raptors, well, winning the finals, you know?
I think two things. Number one, Clay got hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm not even talking about KD. Clay got hurt. And if Clay doesn't get hurt and that's in that game 6, I would bet on Golden State pulling it out.
Yeah, I guess so too.
Also, they ran a shit play for Curry because I mean, I get it that Curry's very good at knocking down those shots. But when you're down one with that much time left, you don't need to force him to go and have to turn around and hit the shot off the catch. That's way too hard.
Yeah.
Even though Curry's good at it, it's still too hard.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Like you have players that can get that you can use Curry as a decoy. Look at what Carlisle does with Dirk in like the 2011 all the time.
Yep.
Dirk as a decoy draws the defense. You get a cutter going to the rim, easy.
Yeah, they did that with Monte a lot, which was really effective. It was really fun to see.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
But like, yeah,
Sorry, continue.
I'm just thinking about like I was so confident the Warriors would win that series, and then their team just fell to shit because Kevin Looney got hurt for a game,
Yeah.
and then obviously Durant somehow got hurt again.
Yep. Yeah, I felt like the Raptors were underdogs as well. It still
I only
deserve it though.
well, I mean, it's deserved. If it's deserved, then it's like saying, beating like the 1991 Lakers is deserved. Like,
Yeah, okay.
because like the 91 Lakers were old as shit, and Jordan beat them.
Right, yeah.
Great. Like,
Yeah, okay.
you should have beat them.
Right. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I'm really happy for like Toronto and Canada, you know.
Oh yeah,
It's
take
a
your title, but I mean, y'all cheered for KD's injury, so y'all are kind of bums to me in that. So,
I mean,
no, that's just messed up. Like seriously.
yeah, I mean, in hindsight, they didn't really know what was happening, I guess, you know.
No, they did. They saw his ass on the ground. The camera literally pans to him on the fucking ground, rolling, and they're
Right.
cheering. There's no way you don't know what's happening.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's what fans are like in the moment, but it's kind of weird.
No, you wouldn't catch me cheering because LeBron is hurt, even though I did not like LeBron.
Right. I wouldn't
I
either,
mean,
but yeah.
it's not. I mean, basketball is not a combat sport. It's not like football. Even football is a combat sport compared to basketball. Basketball is a contact sport.
Yeah.
Like so, injuries happen in basketball, whereas in football, injuries happen on every play. It's just a matter of whether or not the players can handle it and whether or not it's a serious enough injury.
Right,
Now,
yeah.
does that mean if the players handle it, their life will be worse in the future? Yes. And that's why football's fucked up. But
Yeah.
and I don't mean football with a soccer ball. I mean not with soccer ball, with a spherical ball. I mean football with a elliptical ball. So just like understand what I mean, y'all foreigners.
Yeah. Just NFL, you mean, right? American football.
Anything like NFL, college, high school.
Right, right. Yeah. Um I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm still really happy for Canada, and I think it was fun to see like someone else besides the Cavaliers or the Warriors win. Like I had a lot of fun watching the finals, even though the injuries happened, you know, and it was fun. And the whole NBA is kind of different now because, well, we'll get to that, but like, yeah, the whole NBA shifted a bit, of course, and the Warriors are somewhat over, I guess, like their
The
dynasty.
Warriors aren't really over though. They're still gonna be really good.
Still
this
going
year.
to be good, yeah, for sure.
And then Clay is gonna come back from his ACL because ACL injuries aren't shit.
Yeah,
I mean, they just gotta go through the rehab and then you're good.
right.
So Clay will get back from his ACL, and I'm assuming like he tore that in June. For a guy that's not that heavy and not ridiculously tall for a basketball player, I think he can get back in 10 months.
Yeah, I guess
I
that's
think
fair.
that's reasonable. So he could probably be back for the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll get into the signings after this. So after the finals, of course, the draft happened. Or I guess, well, NBA awards before that, right? No, wait, that was after that.
The NBA awards were the Monday after the drafts.
Right,
And
yeah.
nobody cares because everybody knew.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, everybody knew that all those guys were going to get those awards. Like, we even knew Pascal was going to get that award. The only people that didn't know were D'Lo stands.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so yeah, let's get into the draft. I mean, Zion wasn't a surprise, of course. We pretty much knew that Ja Morant was going to get drafted second.
Do you
RJ
mind? Sorry, I had something on my mind. I just wanted to say it really quick,
Sure.
which is Memphis killed that draft.
They did.
They were so good. They did like almost perfectly. And that, like, there's very few teams I've ever seen it do that well.
Right. What did they do again? They got Ja Morant and Brandon Clark,
So
right?
they got they got one. They got Ja Morant. They got Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark coming from the Conley trade, which then they traded up with OKC to get him.
Yeah.
But they also got John Conchar as a two-way, who you don't know who that is, and nobody else that's listening probably to this podcast knows who that is. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
John Conchar is legit. So
Okay.
I think I have a podcast where I discuss him. So, but I don't want to do that here because then it's just going to drag this podcast on about a two-way guy. So.
Right. Well, I'm just gonna put a link of that in the description, and they can check it out. Yeah. So what do you think about the Knicks picking RJ Barrett? Is that a great fit, or would you have preferred maybe like Jared Culver or someone else?
Well, I had Culver ranked second on my board, so yes.
Right.
But at the same time, any pick the Knicks make, I don't trust. They're the Knicks.
Right.
Like, that's just the truth. So,
Right.
like, in a vacuum, picking RJ Barrett's not a bad pick. It's picking RJ Barrett on the Knicks, where you know they're going to force him into the on-ball creator role that's not what his upside is.
Right.
Unless he reaches the very upper tier of that upside. Otherwise, he's going to be like the mellow shooting guards, or I guess J.R. Smith, maybe without the shooting.
Right. I mean, they still have Dennis Smith Jr., right? So I mean, he doesn't really have to ball as much as you think.
He's gonna have the ball a lot.
Yeah.
You can tell by how many shots they were letting him mess
Right.
with summer league. Like
That's without Dennis Smith Jr. though.
Dennis Smith is not important compared to RJ.
True.
Like, let's stop this. Like, I just want to understand. Like, people need to understand. Dennis Smith Jr. is still not good at basketball, and he is in his third year in the NBA.
Yeah. True.
He hasn't improved. He's barely improved.
Right.
Barely.
Wait. So who's? Maybe he won't even start then. So who's the point guard of the Knicks? Because they got rid of Moutier, which was actually pretty solid.
I mean, I just don't even know who they signed as a replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Alonzo Trier? No.
I mean, I'm not saying that Dennis won't start at point guard. I'm saying RJ's going to have the ball more.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And at the end of the day, that's all that really technically matters.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be asked to create their offense, because who else?
Wait, they got Alfred Payton.
Man, who cares about that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he could start, and
I mean,
then
he could start, but is he gonna be useful whenever you have a team that can't shoot already?
yeah, probably not.
I mean, what RJ Barrett needs in order to be effective as any sort of on-ball creator in this league is spacing, and they have
Yeah,
so little spacing. It's like we have Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, whose spacing is ineffective because if you pass him the ball, he's going to take 15 seconds with it.
yeah,
You have Bobby Portis, and then you have Brazdeikis, who's probably not going to get any minutes. Trier, who's going to create offense on his own. He's probably not going to get too many catch and shoots. Dotson, I guess.
Mitchell Robinson isn't a great shooter either, right?
Well, Mitchell Robinson's going to be used in the pick and roll as a 5, so.
Yeah,
But, I mean, it's really hard to run a pick and roll if you have no spacing.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I guess Culver would have been a better fit because they kind of need shooting, but at the same time,
Culver's not much of a shooter either.
really, I thought he was like a 3-and-D guy.
That's what he's going to be if he works out. He's not there yet.
Right. Okay.
He's a prospect for a reason.
Right.
But the reason he stands out is because of his playmaking and his size and his ability to create his own offense on the drive.
Okay, that sounds
And
very
also
good.
his finishing ability is pretty remarkable.
Right.
Despite not being like an elite athlete in terms of explosiveness.
Because like I got the idea that he was supposed to be like a 3-and-D guy, which the Knicks
He
weren't
is.
really looking for because they wanted like a superstar. But
Yeah,
I guess
said
Culver could be that superstar if
yeah,
you're describing him like that.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. No, like his 85th to like his let's say 85th, maybe 90th percentile outcome is like if he's like Chris Middleton.
Okay, so maybe from what I'm getting, like the Jared Culver's floor is a lot lower and his ceiling as well, but RJ Barrett's floor is a lot lower and the ceiling is a lot higher as well.
I don't have faith in his ceiling either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
I just not high on anybody in this draft past 1. That's the truth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I mean, I had Brandon Clark ranked in my top 6 or my top 5, so
Right, yeah.
I had Goga Batadze ranked in my top 5 or my top 10. And I had Grant Williams ranked in my top 10. Like, those are people you put in your top 10 if you have no faith in the upside of all these young guys, and I have no faith in a lot of the upside of these young guys. Like, I don't have much faith in Jackson Hayes becoming like an elite center.
Right.
Like that becomes like somehow so ridiculously far above placement, and I really like him. It's just it's kind of hard for him to carve out a role where he's so valuable. I'm gonna probably move him up from where I have now because now I have him like 12th, maybe 10th.
Right.
I mean, he needs to go higher because he's on New Orleans. But anyway,
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Brandon Clark fell so low because he seems like a very safe pick in a draft like this.
yeah, I mean, it's what happens when you have guys that have neutral wingspans.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the worry about him is that you have to have like a 5 that can shoot next to him, which Memphis has, so that works. But like if you don't have that, you have like 2 bigs that can shoot, and I guess that's kind of the worry. Like you really need certain players around them, probably.
I mean, the Warriors get away with playing 2 bigs that can't shoot all the time.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, you just need good enough shooters around them.
Right. Yeah. What happened again with the 4th pick? Like it got traded twice, so I'm kind of confused.
Well, it got traded from the Lakers to the Pelicans, and it got traded from the Pelicans to the Hawks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and the Pelicans drafted Jackson Hayes with that, right? And
yes, Jackson Hayes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Gigi Luzada.
Right. Yeah. So then the Hawks drafted Cam Reddish and who was the other guy again? DeAndre Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also they got Bruno Fernando in the 2nd.
Right. So DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish are very similar, right? Or is that just me?
They're not similar.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing that would be similar would be like what like the basic perception of them is, and that basic perception is kind of wrong. So
Okay.
the thing is with Hunter, like him being cast into a 3D mode is actually accurate, whereas Reddish is kind of different to that.
Right.
Like he's more like I can't shoot, but my form looks pretty. He's like I can kind of create on the ball on closeouts, which Hunter can't do.
Okay.
And
So they
then defensively, I can make some impact plays, but I'm not going to be a lockdown defender that can be one of the best defenders in the entire league.
okay.
Hunter can get there. He can be one of the best defenders in this league.
So they do kind of complement each other, right?
My biggest worry is that I'm not sure about either of them shooting volume attempts because Hunter's jumper lends itself to only taking like a couple, like one or two,
Right.
maybe three
So
a game.
will one of them start over Kevin Herter, or will Herter still start? Or did he even start?
He did start, but I don't think you need to start either of them over Kevin Herter because look at you have what Trae Young, Herter, then start. Maybe you start Reddish because they traded Prince, so
Yeah.
maybe you start Reddish. Maybe you start Hunter at the 3,
Yeah.
which
I
would
mean,
be nice. Here's a physical comparison for Hunter. Like he got compared physically to OG Anunoby, and his game actually is kind of similar, but he's
right.
a better prospect.
I mean, you would assume that they would still start Alex Len, but they also let Dwayne Dedman go. So
Wait,
I'm kind of.
they started Dwayne Dedman last year, so I don't think they're going to start Alex Len.
Oh, you're right. I think they're gonna put Collins at center then, right?
Either that or start Fernando.
That could happen as well. Is Fernando good enough to start, you think?
I mean, I had him ranked top 20 in this draft, so
Well, I guess. Yeah.
he's really he has a lot of interesting skill set on this game. So
Right. Okay, so who got the 5th pick again? Oh, that was the Hawks, right? No.
no, that was not. That would be the Cavs with Darius Garland.
Right. And that was a weird
No
fit,
sense.
right? Yeah.
No, it's worse than a weird fit. It's just a bad fit.
Yeah.
Because unlike McCollum and Lillard, you have two guys here that are not like humble guys willing to share with each other. Like these guys are high personality. Like I want to create the ball. I want to be the guy taking the last shot. And also they're both smaller.
Right, yeah.
And then also they got Porter, who's another guy who's gonna want to take a bunch of shots.
Right. I mean, it kind of seems like they just want to see, like, who fits the best and maybe trade one of the guys, It kind of seems like that.
I mean, if I was the case, I would have just traded Sexton by now because his value is probably at an all-time high.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people think he's going to be better than he's going to be. That's just the truth.
Right, yeah.
People think he's going to become a playmaker. He's not.
Right.
He's not going to become a playmaker. But anyway, that draft were just such a weird draft. The only picks I really liked that they made was the Dylan Windler pick, and I even thought that was early.
Right. I mean, I like the golfer fit for the Timberwolves.
That's not the Cavs, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. I meant I thought you meant the draft in general because it's been a weird draft. A lot of things.
There was a lot of picks I loved in that draft. I already told you how much I love Memphis.
Yeah.
And then we're about to get to New Orleans in a minute. They crushed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So the 6th pick, who was that again?
6th pick would be Culver.
Wait, I'm gonna look up the draft because I keep forgetting.
Yeah, 6th pick was Culver, and they traded Saric in 11 for Culver.
Right.
So if I'm Minnesota, I'm pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it would have been nice if they could have kept Tyus Jones, but they decided not to.
Right. So, was it a good idea for the Suns to trade down?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in that I understand getting extra assets. No, in that Culver was kind of better than who was kind of left to them. I mean, it was either Culver or like the next available pick would have been like Goga Batadze, who I would have had,
Yeah, they
and
drafted.
that would have made sense. So they could have had, if it wasn't Goga, it would have been Grant Williams or PJ Washington realistically, because Hunter was gone. So
Right. So they drafted Cameron Johnson.
which is bad.
Yeah. What position does he play?
Small forward. He's a great
Right.
shooter and does like not much else.
Right. So yeah,
And he's
then
like a great shooter in like every single facet though, like every way.
I guess they were kind of hoping that maybe Kobe White would fall. Maybe that was the thing.
That wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
Chicago was gonna pick him because they desperately need a point guard.
Yeah, but so do the Suns. I mean, they got Ricky Rubio now, but
I know, but you see, if you're the Suns and you trade down, then you're giving up your rights to that good point guard because Chicago's gonna get him.
right, yeah. So either just draft Jared Culver or Kobe White and then don't trade. I guess that would have been better, yeah.
Also, would have put the Bulls in a really tough spot because they can't pick Culver,
Right.
or at least not if they want to make the most of him.
Right, yeah. Um so yeah, then the Bulls drafted Kobe White. And yeah, they needed a point guard, so that works. Would he start
was-
over uh
Chris Dunn?
Chris Dunn? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he better.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
think
would.
so, too.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start because their coach is weird.
Right.
But as far as the Kobe White pick goes, he really disappointed Summer League this year.
Okay.
But I think he's being asked to create too much. So
Right. And Zach LaVine will help with that because he's a pretty good playmaker for his size.
yes, he's also like a pretty versatile scorer for his size,
Right.
and that's
think the
where
fit-
I think
Yeah.
the fit should be good. It's just a question of how well is he interested in playing off the ball.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because Zach LaVine's still gonna dominate the ball.
Yeah. So yeah, Jackson Hayes, we already talked about. He seems like a Tyson Chandler kind of player. Is that correct?
That's where I would say he's Tyson Chandler with far more upside.
Right. That sounds good. Although
it is good, but this league is shifting away from those types of players.
yeah, and I don't really know if the fit next to Zion is that great, but
It
I mean,
could be great. It could not be.
right.
It all depends on how they set up their offense, really.
Right. Yeah.
What they would need to do is presumably have Hayes setting a bunch of off-ball screens and then have Zion setting pick and roll screens.
Yeah.
Because like if you can't have Hayes running pick and roll with Zion, you don't want Zion running pick and roll as a ball handler, at least as his main role right now. You also don't want Zion being the roll man, being the ball handler next to Hayes as the pick and roll, because then like you have two non-spacers in a pick and roll. Like it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. All right. So then the Wizards drafted Rui Hachimura, which you're a big
sorry.
fan of, right?
No.
Not really. Okay.
No, I despise Rui.
Okay. All right.
But let me get to that in a minute. But I just want to say really quickly, Lonzo Ball is going to unlock so much of Zion's game.
Yeah.
And because the transition, Lonzo Ball is one of the best transition passers, if not the best transition passer in this league, except for maybe Jokic.
Right. Okay.
Like, so think about this. Okay, the Pelicans are playing the Mavs, who have Kristaps Porzingis trying to give back. Zion just dashes up court with all 285 pounds of him. Lonzo Ball takes the inbound and he could throw it full court and hit Zion on the money for a dunk. He can.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
did that with LeBron all the time this year.
Yeah.
And
You're
now
right.
he has Zion. And
Yeah.
now he has a person who could create next to him at the guard position. Well, two people in Nikhil Alexander-Walker and Drew Holiday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, Lonzo Ball will be a lot better than he used to be right now, and you're making me pretty excited to watch Pelicans games this year, I guess.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be. I'm gonna be real with you. Even though the Mavericks are really top heavy, it's very possible the Pelicans are better than the Mavs this year.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you're right.
especially with Favors. Like everyone forgets the Pelicans have Favors.
Yeah, he's a great fit next to Zion because he's turned into like a 3-point shooter, right?
Somewhat. Maybe, sort of,
Yeah.
kind of, not really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but at least he's a good fit because he's mobile and switchable, I guess.
He is experienced. That's the most important thing. He's going to be a great teacher for Hayes.
Definitely, yeah.
But I think the tough thing is, they're probably going to start Favors right away, actually. They're not going to start.
No, you're right, yeah.
So Hayes is going to be in a tough spot because he's only going to get played like 20 minutes.
I mean, that's a good role for someone like him, and
I know, but if you want to develop someone right away, you want to get them as much minutes as you can. So
yeah.
But going back to the Wizards, simply put, that team is going to be so bad, so bad.
I think at like the trade deadline, they're gonna trade probably John Wall, maybe even Bradley Beal, and just like kind of start over, right?
I mean,
that should happen.
How are you going to trade John Wall right now? Is he worth anything?
Like, what was his injury again?
Achilles.
Right.
Which is bad.
Right. So basically, they're gonna wait until he's healthy again, and then see what he's worth, and then trade him.
They wait until he's healthy, they're gonna have to wait till next season because his injury happened after the deadline.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a bad situation. Yeah, maybe they could trade him, and someone like wants to risk it. Maybe like how the Mavs did with Porzingis, but that was an ACL and not a.
You would say
right?
that was an ACL, not an Achilles. John Wall is 29 or 30 years old. Porzingis is 23. Porzingis is way better fit next to Luka than a John Wall type would be.
So wait, speaking of Achilles injuries, how come everybody's pretty much saying that JJ Barea, who had an Achilles injury, or was it ACL?
It's Achilles.
Achilles, yeah. Everybody's saying that he's like already walking like perfectly without any.
Well, simply put, he's small.
Right. Okay, so you think he's gonna like play like at the start of the season and play pretty well, or?
Pretty well, probably not. Play, probably.
Okay. That is good to hear. That's really surprising.
It's not good to hear because he's probably going to be bad. But
I mean, if he's bad, he's not going to play probably.
But he is going to play because he's Rick's son. What are you talking about?
Right. I mean, he used to play like 20 or 25 minutes or even more. And I think if it turns out that he isn't playing as well as he should be, then maybe he'll only play like 10 to 15 minutes, I guess.
I mean, who else are they going to play? Like
Brunson.
Like, I guess, but like that's it. It's Brunson, and like that's your only option. And apparently they're still considering bringing back Devin Harris. I don't know.
I mean, if JJ isn't gonna play as much, then I guess they might as well.
No, just no. It's time. I love Devin for what he was, but last year was the end of the road.
Right. I mean, they could just sign Jeremy Lin or maybe trade Burke back.
No. Rick doesn't like either of them. Let's not do that. Right.
So, is there maybe another point guard that they could sign?
Not really, no. It isn't because Darren Collison retired. So, unless you can convince him to come out of retirement.
Right.
Which, good luck.
Yeah, I mean...
He wants to spend time with his family and his faith, so...
Yeah, I mean, good for him.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, you're not getting him out of retirement, so...
I mean, they got DeLon Wright, of course. We could talk about that in depth later. And Seth Curry, who's also kind of a playmaker. And Luka is kind of like a point guard as well. So I guess their depth...
playmaker. It's just they don't have like a backup playmaker because like they can't play those guys all the time. Someone else has to play.
Yeah.
But You want to go and get into the Mavs, or you want to keep going for the draft? Because there's a couple more I want to highlight actually.
Yeah, let's continue with the draft, I guess. So the
Pick 10 now.
yeah, Cam Reddish. We kind of talked about.
We already talked about it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Pick 11 is.
Cameron Johnson to the Suns, which you
We
also
already
kind of
talked
talked about. Yeah.
Pick
So
12 is PJ, right?
PJ Washington, yeah, to the Hornets.
That's the one I wanted to talk about. I'm really big fan of seeing what PJ can do in Charlotte with his defensive ability and his shot developing as well.
Right.
The only concern for me is their offense kind of seems like it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have, I mean, your options are start Monk and have a capable shooting guard, or starting Dwayne Bacon.
Yeah.
But if you start Monk, then you have Terry Rozier and Malik Monk in the same backcourt, which is a terrible idea.
I guess. It could work.
No, it couldn't.
Why
You
is
have
that?
two guys that love the ball, that don't know each other, and have both been starving for opportunities. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, okay. I thought Malik Monk was at least capable of playing off ball.
It's not
Like,
whether
he's a
he's
good
capable,
shooter.
it's the personality.
Right. Okay.
Because that's what my concern, especially with the Hornets, who are always a dumpster fire, where personality can really show out in players.
Yeah. Okay, so number 13, Tyler Hero to the Heat.
An overpick. It was an overpick, but the Heat felt like they needed shooters, so.
Yeah. So the Celtics got Romeo Langford, and I remember him being like a prospect from last year. Did he go to college one more year or something?
No, he's just been hyped up for a long time.
Right, okay.
But Langford kind of really disappointed, honestly. I thought his range was going to extend out, and it didn't. And apparently that had something to do with a wrist injury or thumb injury or something, but still.
Right, okay. So second Boya to the Pistons. You're a big fan of him, right? I thought.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not an anti-fan of him. I don't despise him. I despise Rui. I don't despise Sekou.
Okay.
But, I mean, my biggest problem with him is his game's kind of incomplete. Like, you can tell what he's going to be if it works out, but it's a long road.
Okay, so what's his game going to be if it works
3
out?
and D if it works out, but he needs to really improve his feel on the court and utilize his mobility, because he's one of the most mobile people at his size. Like,
Okay.
laterally, he's really mobile.
Right, okay. So I think we're just gonna go until like pick 23 because like the Baisley trade happens until that. So
Well, we already went through Baisley, so we don't even have to talk about him again, so.
I think that was before we recorded though.
I don't even know. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
not. 16.
Yeah, Chuma Okeke.
Love the player, was an overpick though.
Okay. Right. What position does he play?
3-4. But
Okay.
he's gonna be out all year with a torn ACL, so because he's
Alright.
big. He's not like Clay where he can realistically come back. Like, he's 6'8", 240, so he's
Right.
big.
So I kind of wonder what the Magic are gonna do with Vucevic and Bamba now.
I don't know what they're gonna do with him, honestly. So
Like,
that's up to them to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Bamba is healthy, maybe they could start together and play really big.
No.
Yeah, but then I'm kind of like, why did they draft
Also,
Bamba?
why'd you sign Aminu?
Yeah.
Sign Aminu and then not start him after you pay him to that contract? You just signed Terrence Ross to that big contract. You have to start him.
Yeah.
So then are you going to start Terrence Ross? Like, you
They-
still don't have a point guard. Like, what's your point guard? Markelle Fultz?
They could start Evans at point guard, I suppose. He's a great playmaker. And then Terrence Ross at the 2 and Alfred Camino at the 3.
Evans?
Yeah.
What Evans?
Wait. Evan Fournier. So excuse me.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry.
Evan Fournier? I don't really think you can run him at point guard. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good playmaker, but that seems above his pay grade, which is
Yeah.
funny because he gets paid a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think
Right.
you can run Evan Fournier at point guard.
All right.
But
Well,
if you're starting Terrence Ross and Aminu, how do you fit Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, and Vucevic all into the same lineup?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because
So
you have
probably,
to start. You just paid Aminu. You're gonna pay Aminu to play on the bench.
yeah, I think so. I think just a bench with uh Aminu, Bamba, and what's his Jonathan Isaac probably, right? They all
Isaac has to start. He has to
okay.
start. Has to. There's no exceptions.
Right, right,
If Isaac doesn't start, then that's gonna be a disappointment.
right. Yeah.
And then, like, honestly, I mean, I guess the only thing you could really do is maybe you want to try out the Jonathan Isaac at point guard experiment.
I guess that could work. Yeah.
Because I mean, what else are you gonna have?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's probably what they should do. Yeah.
Well, if they do that, then their team's gonna be a complete wreck because they're gonna have to get Jonathan Isaac used to running plays like that a lot. So it's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, I mean, you still have uh Evan Fournier, like we said.
Can you start Evan Fournier when you need to start Terrence Ross because he's just a better player?
Yeah. Okay.
And that's saying something about you when Terrence Ross is a better basketball player than you. And that's not a diss to Terrence Ross. It's just a diss to Evan Fournier.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So like you have what Isaac Fournier, and then I guess
Yeah.
Aminu Gordon, which is the weird, and
Yeah.
then Vucevic. Like that's just so weird.
Yeah. Okay. So then the Nets traded Nickel Alexander Walker to the Pelicans.
I guess I don't remember how he got
Wait,
there.
they traded it to the Pelicans, and the Pelicans. No, wait. The Nets
He
traded it
tra-
to the Net Hawks, and they traded it to the Pelicans. Yeah.
yeah, that was because of the Torian Prince trade. Actually, now I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've already discussed how I feel about Nikhil in that offense.
Yeah. True.
Also, here's the thing for the Pelicans. They're set. Like, they can get in the playoffs right now because, like, we still, you know who we forgot to talk about with the Pelicans?
Uh, not
JJ
sure.
Redick.
Right. He's probably gonna come off the bench, right? Or
He might start because they need shooters.
right. So wait, what is the starting lineup in your head then?
Potentially. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know I have no idea what it's gonna be, but
Right.
if it depends on what they need and what they feel they need. But you have to start Holiday,
Yeah.
so Holiday starts somewhere, I guess, at the point.
Do you think they still start Lonzo?
I don't know, but Lonzo's gonna get used a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then they still have Brandon Ingram. Maybe they start Zion at center and just Brandon Ingram next to him.
I don't
And
think you
then
can start
Redick.
Zion at center and have both Favors and Hayes on your bench.
Yeah. So it's gonna be really
I think
interesting
Ingram
to
is the
see.
best option to start on the bench, honestly, except I don't think they have any other wings.
Right.
Because obviously Didi's having overseas to Australia.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't start Nikhil at 3. That'd be a bad idea. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what other options they have. I mean, I guess Darius Miller.
Right. So basically, Lonzo, Holiday, and then
Oh,
Redick,
you
and
think
then Zion, and then
Lonzo?
Favors.
Maybe, but I think I have an idea that might work, even though it'd be weird. It would, and Lonzo would have to gain weight, but Lonzo at the small forward,
That could work probably.
he would have to gain weight though, because he's kind of skinny.
Yeah. I think Drew is probably better at defending threes.
Yeah, but then you have what's your starting lineup going to be? Because you can't run Lonzo and Drew both in the same lineup, because then you're going to have issues with spacing.
Okay.
Because I mean, let's see about how this hypothetical line will play. Lonzo, Redick, Drew, Zion, Favors.
Yeah, probably.
You have what, 2 shooters in that lineup? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Not really. Yeah. I mean, Ingram will still play a lot of minutes.
He will,
And
but I don't know if you can start a guy who you can't rely on to shoot next to Zion,
right.
who's a guy that's not the playmaker.
I mean, they figure something out, you know.
I'm sure they will, because the Pelicans are going to be one of those teams that are going to be like, how did they make this roster work? But they have Zion, so everything works. So
True. Yeah. Okay, so then the Pacers drafted your guy, Pitatse.
Goga, baby.
Yeah.
This opens up their flexibility so much, but I don't know what they're going to do, because at the same time they have so many talented bigs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he might come off the bench first, you know, because of.
Well, he's gonna come off the bench. The only question is, what are they gonna do with their bigs? Because I'm not sure if they can keep all of them.
Right.
Also, San Antonio was so pissed they couldn't get him. You already know they were so pissed.
Yeah, I figure. Yeah. I mean, Lucas Samanic still seems pretty good. Like,
He's not Goga though.
I guess so.
He's not. He's not.
Right. So yeah, the Pacers are kind of stacked now. They got Brogdon. Oladipo is going to be healthy, right?
They got Lamb too.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it is worth mentioning that Collison is gone though. Just again.
Yeah, but I mean, Oladipo and Brogdon are great playmakers. They're big and
No,
tall.
it's just saying that, like,
Yeah.
Collison was a key piece to that team.
For sure. Yeah.
Also, isn't Thad Young gone?
Yeah, he went to
Orlando? No way.
the Bulls. He went to the Bulls. I remember.
Well, damn, that's gonna be weird.
Yeah, and I think he might start next to Markkanen. Like,
Who's he starting? He's not starting over Otto Porter.
no, maybe at center was my idea. Like,
He's not starting over Wendell Carter.
I think Wendell Carter and Markkanen don't really fit though. Like,
And
they're both kind of.
If Thad Young at center is not gonna fit either.
I mean, Markkanen might defend fives then.
No.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
that probably comes off the bench. Yeah.
Keith Thad's a very useful bench piece on this. I'm not saying he can't start, but this is the wrong lineup for him to start in.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a weird signing.
I mean, I guess would
Yeah.
be my answer.
Do the Pacers still have Bojan?
No, he went to the Jazz.
Right.
That's why they
Oh.
went for Brogdon, because what happened was, here's this crazy turn of events. So the Jazz wanted Mirotic.
Right.
Mirotic goes to play for Barcelona.
Yeah.
The Jazz signed Bojan. Pacers are like, shit, we wanted Bojan, and he got left because Jazz outpaid us. Okay, we're going to go sign Malcolm Brogdon then and trade a first-round pick for him.
Yo.
And as a result, the Mavs get nothing.
I mean, let's get into that a little bit. I didn't really expect that much from the free agency from the Mavs. I mean,
I expected
Donnie
more than what they got.
not sure. I mean,
They had $30 million in cap space, and you couldn't sign one starter-level player.
right.
One. Like, that's almost...
I mean, I think
impossible.
DeLon is the starting
Is
caliber
he, though?
player.
Is he, though?
And Seth
Is he,
Curry
though?
as well.
He's a career backup. He's never started except for in Memphis.
Yeah.
And when he did start, he put up good numbers, but his impact was kind of poor.
Right. Okay.
Now, I'm not saying it can't be good for us. I'm just saying, and I'm not even saying it was a bad signing. I'm saying they could have used their cap space to sign better talent that would be more useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And like, I like Seth Curry, I like DeLon Wright, but we needed starter level players that could start in every game. Whereas like, the only reason Seth Curry is going to end up starting is because we need him to, not because he should be.
Yeah, you're right. We just need like a 40% shooter, and he is that. But that doesn't mean that he's like a starter caliber player. Yeah,
Here's the worst part is now you're gonna have to rotate because if you do start Curry, which who knows if they will, because apparently that's in question and that's disappointing because they need to start Curry because how are you gonna have a lineup with 2 shooters
yeah,
and
yeah,
be the Mavericks who shot like 4th most threes in the NBA?
exactly, yeah.
And then like that would be so rough. But
I mean,
anyway, sorry.
well, I mean, Dwight can shoot open shots. So can Luka.
No, Dwight cannot hit open shots except for in March and April. Stop.
True. I hope he'll be more like consistent with that though this year.
Don't hope for mirages.
I'm hoping, but I'm not expecting it.
Don't hope for something that's not gonna happen.
Right. Okay.
You didn't catch me hoping for Kemba.
So then, I really hope just that Maxi starts though.
In my opinion, Maxi and Powell need to platoon. There are going to be times where Powell needs to start. In fact, there's going to be a lot of times where Powell's going to need to start.
Right.
Because someone needs to run the pick and roll.
Right, yeah.
And it's not going to be Porzingis because then you take away the threat of his spacing.
Right.
But at the same time, you need Maxi's defense against certain teams.
Yeah.
And then, but the platoon start that I find more interesting that the Mavericks need to do, who knows if they will, in my opinion, they need to platoon DeLon and Dorian.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Seth could play point guard next to Luka, or at least defend
Seth
once.
At point guard, and then DeLon and Dorian play 2-3, and then Luka just plays the other wing.
Right, yeah. I think the starting lineup will be different every game, pretty much.
Yeah, the only question is, will Maxey get Rick Carlisle's respect or not? Because, that's apparently a problem. Also, how many minutes should Ryan Broekhoff get in this rotation? Because he needs to get minutes.
He should get a lot of them because he's one of the best shooters, but I'm afraid it's not going to happen.
I'm going to revolt if he doesn't get minutes, man. He needs them we need them so bad.
Yeah.
Like, imagine having a bench lineup where it's J.J. Barea, Jalen Brunson again.
Yeah.
And then, if it's not Ryan Broekhoff, then Justin Jackson. And then,
Maxey.
I guess Maxey, maybe, and then Maxey Boban.
Right, yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
It's going to happen too. It's going to be so funny.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the Boban signing as well. Like,
I'm happy with it in a vacuum, but I'm not happy with it because we still have nobody that's a starter level player. So,
right.
Like, okay, I guess.
So the Mavs maybe could still sign back Mesri, but not sure if he could start either.
Let's not sign Mesri though.
Yeah, he's a better shooter than Dwight Powell in my opinion, though.
No, he's not.
Really?
No. He made like 10 threes in a month, and now you're calling him a better shooter than Dwight Powell.
Yeah,
You know who has the better jump shooting form. You know who's had the better track record.
Right.
And that's saying something because Dwight Powell's track record is bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it couldn't be much worse, but yeah, okay.
Salah's is worse because he made like what 10 out of like 25 threes, and that's it. He never shot threes before then, and he probably won't shoot threes like that ever again because the only reason he shot threes is because they were tanking.
Right.
And I guarantee you that was fluky as hell.
I guess, yeah. Okay, so, will there be lineups where Boban starts next to Kristaps?
There shouldn't be.
Okay.
And I really hope there won't be because that's going to be bad.
Yeah. I mean, some ultra long lineups maybe, like how the Jazz used to start Favors next to Gobert, like maybe
that's
against something
different,
like that.
Boban is not capable defensively, safe to say.
Yeah.
Except for blocking shots, he's just not capable. So,
right. Okay.
And also, he's so slow running up the court, man.
Yeah. So maybe the best idea is to, even though it shouldn't really, like, even though Kristaps shouldn't play center, maybe starting Dorian and Porzingis as the two bigs is the best fit.
Hold on, starting Dorian and DeLon Wright in the same lineup?
Yeah, so DeLon,
No,
Seth, Luka, Dorian,
no,
and KP.
no. Don't go any farther.
Okay,
No,
so Justin Jackson maybe at the 4?
no, don't do that.
Okay.
I'd rather start Dwight Powell and Maxey in every single lineup than start Dorian at 4.
Okay.
Because there's no lineup where you're going to need that. And also, the shooting is going to be so bad.
Yeah, okay.
Like, unbelievably bad if you have both of them on the floor.
Right. No, that's fair. Yeah. I really hope the Mavs are gonna make another trade, like maybe for Iguodala or
Iguodala is not happening. I mean,
maybe Dragic still.
No.
No.
If they pass up on him the first time, they're sure as hell not going to get him now.
I mean, I'm still not really 100% sure what the story is. Like maybe the
The story is that the Mavericks wanted some other people, and the Heat wanted to get off Dragic. That's basically the story.
yeah, but like a lot of reports are different from each other, so it's really confusing.
Well, what probably happened was the Heat offered them Dragic,
Right.
and the Mavs said, no, we want these guys. And then the Heat were like, no. And then somehow it got translated to the Mavs are willing to take this, even though they didn't, I guess, say that. Or the Mavericks took the trade and were misled or misled, because there's no they were misled into thinking that whenever they didn't want that. Which, by the way, for the record, both those trades are kind of bad. But
yeah.
and I mean, I guess the Dragic trade could work. It could not. But I don't want him to trade for him now. It would take they would have to do the whole let's get rid of Lee thing just to take Dragic for a year.
Yeah.
Also, I love how those guys at D basketball were all like, the Mavs are gonna get somebody, or the Mavs are gonna go after these people and these people. They went after none of them.
Right.
None of them. Just absolutely none of them.
Yeah.
They didn't talk shit about DeLon Wright or Seth Curry during this offseason cycle. They were all like Kemba, Dragic, all the other Plague K, BS, Boyan, Brogdon.
Yeah.
None of them. None of Beverly. None of them.
I mean, that's often how it happens, you know.
I know, but it was so hilarious because
Yeah.
they just missed on everything. And now they're saying if Iggy's gonna come, he ain't coming, man. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. He's not coming. Like, he's just not.
Right. I mean, in hindsight, it turns out that the Mavs weren't really even interested in Patrick Beverly. Like, that's kind of weird.
I know, but then what were they doing? Because apparently
Yeah.
what they did on the first night of free agency was they went out to dinner with all the people they re-signed.
Right. And also, yeah, Patrick Beverly wasn't that interested either, right?
Well, Patrick Beverly can't be interested if you skip your scheduled phone call. Like, even if you've talked to him before, it's still kind of rude to be like, okay, we're going to have this 501 phone call, and then you skip the phone call to get in on the Dragic mess.
Yeah, I hope that's something that maybe was misreported because that sounds awful.
No, that's what the report is, but then Skin's like, well, you know, obviously this up their own phone communication. I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is you're being a jackass for skipping that phone call. Like, it's like if I had a meeting scheduled with a quote unquote business partner, and then I skipped the meeting
Right.
because I wanted to go get in on someone else's business.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, the business partner is going to be pissed and probably go deal with somebody else.
Yeah. You're
Also,
right.
Bill Duffy's got to be mad because the Mavs didn't sign any of his players.
Ooh, you're right, yeah.
Like,
I mean-
DeLon Wright, I'm pretty sure is not his.
Not sure.
And then I know Curry is is under Steph Curry's agent. So
Right, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, DeLon Wright is a lot younger than Patrick Beverly, and I think I kind of understand that they prefer him, but I mean, Patrick Beverly would have been a great fit, and it seemed like they were going to sign him.
it so did though, but it's just hilarious that he didn't end up here because now he's under the Wasserman group.
Yeah, okay. Um,
Yeah, at least I think he's to Wasserman. Yeah, it looks like it.
right.
So yeah, so DeLon Wright's not a Billy Duffy client, and I'm pretty sure Boban isn't either. And even if he is, who cares?
Right.
So Bill Duffy's gonna be pissed, and
Yeah.
that's not ideal.
You want to quickly go over the Baisley trade and the what's his name again? Brendan Clark, you know.
I mean, I think I talked about Brandon Clark on this pod already, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So I'll just get into the Baisley side. It seems like a really disappointing pick. Like honestly, they're gonna spend a lot of time developing him that I'm not sure they have, even though they're rebuilding. Like you have players that are more important than him on your roster right now.
Yeah.
And you're also in this weird situation where you're gonna have to offload people if you want to tank. So, because
Yep.
like Gallinari's not gonna tank for you.
Exactly, yeah. Is Gallinari gonna get traded, you think?
Is Gal maybe? I mean, if they want to tank, then he's gonna get traded.
Right.
I mean, imagine if Gallinari gets traded to the Warriors or some crazy shit like that happens.
Wow. Yeah. I hope
Like,
not.
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
All the Warriors got to do is dangle a first round pick and then figure out the money.
Right.
But
So I guess that's everything from the draft in general. So
well,
then
there's one more. You might have one more pick.
yeah, the
One more.
Mavs pick, right?
No, not him.
Do you want
The
to talk about
Boston
that?
Grant Williams.
Right.
They're an intelligent basketball player, and they're excited to see what he does in Boston because he's gonna get a lot of minutes.
Right, yeah.
That's all I want to say. I don't want to take too long. So
Nah, that's okay. So yeah, the Mavs drafted Davidas Sirvidis at first, and I was kind of excited about that. I thought he was supposed to be like a first round pick. But then they traded down for Isaiah Roby, and they got 2 second-round picks from it, which they traded. Like, Bobby Karalla just tweeted about it, like just like an hour ago.
yeah,
What was it
yeah,
again?
it's the same picks they usually get. They use the same picks from that trade to get DeLon Wright. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess if you're looking at it like that, they got the lawn out of it, so I guess it's fine. But I would have
mean,
liked the fetus.
I like them both. I mean, Davies is a better prospect, but it's better to have DeLon than not have him. So
Yeah.
and also Roby's still a fine prospect. Like everyone was hating on him way too much.
Yeah. He seems fine. Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna be fine, man. Like, Jesus Christ. People are mad that he's not figuring things out right away. I'm like, he didn't even have things figured out in college
Right.
because his coaching situation was a complete mess. So, yeah, give him a break.
Right. So he's probably gonna be like a two-way guy, right?
I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Roby because their roster is kind of confusing.
Yeah, they have the roster space, so they might actually just give him a spot.
Yeah, they'll probably give him a sock because he's a draft pick, but I have no idea what they're gonna do right now.
Right.
And then you also got a question of Reeves and Cleveland from Summer League, so it's all really interesting.
Right. Okay, so let's get into free agency a bit more. So like, yeah, the Mavs just focused way too much on re-signing their guys, which I'm actually kind of fine with because they got Dwight and Maxey and Dorian on like decent deals. They got KP for like 4 to 5 years, which is nice as well. But yeah, they let a lot of guys go because of that, which is unfortunate.
The Mavs, who they let go?
Um, they slipped on a couple of guys, is what I meant. Yeah.
I was about to say they didn't let anybody go that was their own.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they slipped on their own guy on those other guys, but we kind of went over that.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, the free agency happened really quick. Like KD and Kyrie just immediately went to the Nets, which created like a domino effect of like a lot of guys signing somewhere, and we heard like nothing about the Mavs for a long while, and that was kind of frustrating.
Well, it's not surprising. That's very Mavsy, so.
Right. Oh, and you remember those tweets about Mavs reporters who weren't allowed to like tweet about it. They kept saying how great of a day it was. So in hindsight, that just meant because we got Porzingis for 4 to 5 years, but
Yeah.
everybody thought that it meant that we signed some more guys.
Yeah, nope. And then, like, remember Skim Wade being like, oh, the Mavs fans are going to be so happy with what we signed this offseason.
Yeah, but he doesn't know much though. He doesn't really have
I
like
know, but
sources.
he pretends like he does, though, and he has influence.
Right.
And it pisses me off. And then he's like, "Oh, well, y'all are immature for not being happy about what the Mavericks signed this offseason." I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm pissed that we didn't sign any starters with $30 million of cap space next to our two superstars, because one of them could leave us in 4 years, especially because you gave him a player option.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Right. I mean, honestly, since I've been a Mavs fan, I haven't really expected too much out of free agency, and I'm kind of satisfied because they didn't overpay for the guys they kept.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm in a way I'm kind of satisfied, though I did really wish that they signed some better starters.
I'm satisfied with in a vacuum with every move they did. I'm not satisfied in total, because in the end they didn't accomplish what they needed to accomplish.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree
And
with that.
also they gave KP a player option. Like, you didn't need to do that. You
Right.
did not need to do that. You gave him the ability to get out a year early.
I mean, yeah, true. I mean, at least we got him for 4 years. That's better
But we could have
than
had him for 5.
right.
Like, what was gonna stop us?
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
what happens if our team is a first round exit every single year these next 4 years?
Yeah,
If even, maybe they don't even make the playoffs one of these years, or
right,
two of them. What's the incentive for him to stay at that point?
right.
Like, he'll be like 28 years old.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe the Mavs will sign some guys in the future or trade for some guys. They have
How are
tradable
they gonna?
contracts.
But who's gonna come here if our team sucks? Because we have no starters outside of KP and Luka.
I mean,
I'm not saying sucks like.
Dwight is a starter, and so is DeLon. I think so.
Is DeLon though, and is Dwight? I mean, he sort of is, but is he really?
Not as much as like Luke Howard or KP, but
Well,
they're
I know, but is he a
good enough.
starter level player? Is he a starter level player? Is he a player you can start 82 nights in the NBA? No.
Probably not. Yeah, but most of the games at least, and at least we still have Jalen Brunson and Maxi off the bench.
Jalen Brunson
So
is definitely not a starter level player, and Maxi is also like a half. Sure, you have a bunch of half starters, but no full starters, and that's not
right,
good.
that helps with depth though.
It helps with depth if we had better bench players, and
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're gonna rely on JJ Barea at a certain point. That's where we're at right now.
Right. I mean, I'm used to that.
I know, but now we have JJ. No, but like, it's not the same JJ Barea. This is torn Achilles JJ Barea.
Yeah.
We're relying on torn Achilles JJ Barea, which is not good.
Yeah, he seems to be walking fine though. He seems to be recovering really, really well. But that
Well, you
doesn't.
can walk fine, but it doesn't mean you can play fine.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. So how about the Danny Green situation? Like that was really frustrating. Like that podcast
It's
host guy.
frustrating, but I wasn't surprised. I figured he was playing us for leverage from the get-go. So.
Yeah. Oh, and the most annoying thing was like on his podcast, that guy mentioned that Mavs fans were mocking him and saying that they used us for leverage, and then just he like said like that's ridiculous. We wouldn't do that, and then they did, and it's like That's really ironic. That's like, yeah, very
I mean, what's
typical.
even more hilarious is the Mavs gave him a shit offer. It
Yeah,
was 3 years, 36, and the third year wasn't even guaranteed. Like,
right.
dog shit offer for if you want to lure a title contender away from a playoff team, then you have to do more than that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like they were like really careful with spending their money. So wouldn't it really be that bad to overpay for one guy that you really need? You know, it's like a 40% shooter and a great defender who could actually start every game.
And it would be a
Like,
starter level player that we don't have. We don't
yeah,
have especially a starting level wing. We do not have a starting level wing.
like Danny Green is like the one guy that I would have been okay with if they overpaid.
Or Jeremy Lamb or Alfred Aminu or like any starting level wing
Right. Yeah,
that we don't have.
right. It's frustrating.
And it's like you have $30 million in cap space. And this is not like I don't think you understand. This is not expecting a lot because the Mavericks usually are able to sign starter level talent.
Right.
Like they got Parsons a couple years ago
Yeah,
when
but
they had
they
cap
overpaid.
space.
They didn't. That's the
But
thing.
that
They
was
didn't
still
want to.
I know, but that was okay because they got starter level talent
Right.
that they didn't have and that they needed. And this year they didn't. So now they have like what maybe 10 million in cap space next free agency to sign nobody.
Right.
Like $10 million doesn't buy you shit.
Right.
Like it
I think.
buys you what? What does it buy you in this free agency? Do you think? Like, I showed you the list,
Yeah,
and I
not
think we could
much.
just land.
I mean, is that like uh is that like the Corneli contract included with that?
Yes,
Okay.
if the that's with me taking out his cap hold, so and
Right. Right.
everything. Here, let me look at some of the
They could
players.
still trade Tim Hardaway next year, or they could still maybe trade Seth
Please,
or
please
Brunson.
explain to me what assets they're going to attach to get rid of Tim Hardaway.
Probably first round pick.
With one first round pick is going to get rid of Tim Hardaway's 2 year deal.
Right. I
No,
mean, next year for when he has 1 year left.
well that's not this year.
Right. Right. Right.
So that doesn't affect that free agency. That would affect the next
Yeah.
free
Yeah. I
agency.
mean, you're asking me what are they gonna do with 10 million next year?
Well, no, no, that's you can't trade Tim Hardaway in that offseason because no one's going to want to take on his contract in the middle of free agency.
Right. So maybe in this
You would
year's
trade
trade
him.
deadline.
You would trade him at the next trade deadline because no one's going to want to have his contract in free agency.
Right. Okay.
But again, if you do that, then you're going to have to attach assets if you attach him early. If you trade him early, and if you trade
Yeah.
him late, then it's basically you're going to trade him for like a bag of chips.
And you might
Like
as well keep him for like those next extra months.
maybe, maybe not. It depends
Right.
on how the Mavs are looking and how bad Tim Hardaway is,
Right. Yeah.
who we all wished was the next Monta Ellis in his.
He was not.
Well, mostly because he shot 7 threes, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I thought he would stop doing that. He did not stop doing that.
He
So,
might now that he's more like acclimated with the offense.
I mean, Rick Carlisle better tear his head apart if he doesn't. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if Rick Carlisle can give Nerlens Noel shit, then he definitely deserves to give Tim Hardaway Jr. shit.
He probably might. Yeah. So, yeah, at least the Mavs have a first round pick is what I was gonna say. Like,
Well, they do, but like it's gonna be like if they don't make the playoffs, it'll be 14th.
I mean, the lottery is a lot more in your favor now when we have like the ninth or 10th seed, so that's good at least.
Yeah, it's either gonna be like the 14th or like maybe be at best 12th pick, or it's gonna be if they make the playoffs, it's gonna be like 18th because they'll be in the West.
Right? Yeah. We'll see.
So they'll
It's
have
at
to have
least
like 45 wins to make the playoffs.
yeah, it's at least good to know that they have a lottery pick when they don't make the finals. The playoffs.
Yeah, they'll have a lottery pick and then they'll fall all the way to 14
We'll
because
see.
the lottery will screw them over because that's just how it is.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it can get worse than 14th when you have the ninth seed, so that's at least good.
Well, I mean, if you have the ninth pick, but if you have the ninth seed, well, I mean, it depends.
Yeah, if
'cause,
you have
like,
the
if they get
14th
9
pick,
or
it,
10.
it at least can get better than the 14th pick if you have
I
that
mean,
already.
you either have to get 14 or like you have to rise all the way up to 4, and you have like a 1% chance of that happening. So
Yeah. All right. So, um, yeah, then a bit later, Danny Green signed with the Lakers, of course. The Paul George and Kawhi thing happened, which I didn't really expect. It was kind of surprising.
I mean, we knew that Paul George was wanting to go to LA for a while now, so there's
Yeah,
that. And then in addition, even in the past free agency, there was rumors he was going to go to the Clippers. So
right. Yeah.
I mean, you know. And then like, the Arya Abraham dude, he's all like, "This was a complete shock." I'm like, "Was it though?"
Who's that again?
The dude that said that Kawhi was going to the Lakers from day one.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
And
It's
like
not. It's not.
so many reports, like Jalen Rose said that there's 99% from, according to his sources, that he was going back to the Raptors. Like nobody knew shit, and they were all like saying that they knew a bunch of stuff.
Who's the only person that got it right was Woj, who said the Clippers were the front runners, and then all the Lakers fans shat on him. Well, look what turned out, mofos. Guess who signed with the Clippers?
Yep.
Kawhi Leonard. Guess
Honestly,
what? Woj actually knows more than you. I know that's a shock.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really trust any sources outside of Woj, Shams, and Mark Stein, probably.
I'd probably trust Cato, but he rarely reports, and
Yeah, and I guess
McMahon,
Fisher,
Townsend.
I guess.
Don't really. You're gonna trust Fisher after this offseason?
Wait, what did he say again then?
He said how the Mavs are gonna go after all those guys, and they went after none of them. They didn't even go after Patrick Beverly.
Did he really say that? I thought that was like.
He was like, well, it was all like, okay, here's who the Mavs should go after, and like here's why I think they could.
Yeah,
They
but
went
that's the
after
thing.
none of them.
Sometimes he's like speculating, but there are other times where
But he
like,
always
like really
speculates, and then he
reporting.
tries, but then he claims it as a report.
Right. Okay.
Like, here's my problem: if you're gonna say it's speculation, then don't be like, okay, well, my speculation was right, because nobody cares if your speculation is right, because that's not what speculation is supposed to be about. Speculation
Right,
is
yeah.
basically a discussion topic so that you have something to do to pass time.
Okay. Well, let's put it like this. I trust his real like reports when someone asks him like, are
So
the Mavs interested in?
you do realize the Andre Iguodala thing is a report, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna happen?
I think they're in talks. That's what he's reporting, but I
Do
don't
you-
think it's
do
going to
you-
happen.
Do you really think they're in talks though? Because remember what Townsend said. Townsend said they're not gonna go after him. Who are you
Okay.
gonna trust, Fisher or Townsend? I'll take Townsend.
Yeah, I think in this case, yeah, he's been like really solid, like trustworthy and stuff.
Yeah, my
So,
point is just this: is that what Fisher is at this point is he's a guy who has some inkling of truth to his reports, but at the same time is a guy just trying to drum up interest because the Mavs offseason is dead.
right. Yeah.
That's what it is. And I'm not saying it's necessarily false. I'm saying the amount of truth to it is minimal.
Well, he's becoming more annoying as well. Like,
Oh my
he
God!
claims to be right a lot, and then people like confront him about him, and he just blocks them and calls them
Yeah.
like bad people and stuff. And it's like
Yeah,
he's not the greatest person either. So yeah.
that's the truth. But I think that's enough about that. Do you want to go through anything else in the draft, or we just move?
Maybe
No,
let's
what's
get
next?
to Summer League.
Summer League. Oh, fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Mavericks are finally a competent Summer League team, but it's all because campaign. Not
Yeah.
really.
I mean,
It's a lot.
Macon was really good.
He was good for like 2 games.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Reeves was great though. So was
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Roby is
Those
kind of
two.
decent.
Roby was inconsistent, which is not.
Oh yeah,
surprising.
very. Yeah.
And then outside of that, they had like nobody they could rely on. I mean, Whittington was nice, but then they like never used him.
Yeah.
Like it felt like he was used in the first game, then they never used his shooting ever again. I'm like, what are we doing here?
And the Mavs, they played the Timberwolves in like the semifinals
Well,
because
the quarterfinals because they made the playoffs, and I did not think the Timberwolves were going to be so ridiculously efficient. So
yeah, I didn't think so either. And they played the 4-0 Timberwolves at that point because they lost a bunch of quarters, right? The Mavs.
It was because they lost a game.
Right. Wait, but weren't there other teams that were like 2-2?
No. There
Really?
were only 8 teams that made the playoffs.
Right.
All the other teams that played those days were consolation.
Right. That kind of sucks. I felt like the Mavs were playing really well.
They were 3-1. They only lost one game until the Timberwolves game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of it feels really
The Timberwolves were
unfair.
just better. They were
Yeah.
just better, and also the Mavs didn't have campaign. So
All right. I didn't even really realize that. Why didn't he play?
because he was signing with another team, so they had to hold him out.
Oh, wait, who did he sign with?
We don't know yet. He is signing with another team.
Right. Do you think it could be the Mavs?
No, then it wouldn't be another team. It'd be us.
Okay, right. Man, I think the Mavs kind of do need him though, because like
No,
you
they don't.
mentioned, they
No, they
don't really have
because
enough point guards.
It's not that they don't have enough point guards. They don't have enough playmakers. And Campaign is not the right playmaker for this team.
Right. How about Macon?
No.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. There's no one left they can sign
Right.
that would be worth their time.
Right.
It's just it's over. Like I said, the offseason is dead. It's done. They're not doing anything else. They might do a trade, but it's not gonna be Iguodala.
Right. Yeah. Um. Okay. So other teams in summer league, something that stands out to you?
Yes. Other than the teams that we talked about killing it in the draft, one of the teams that really stood out to me was Detroit.
Okay.
They just have a really well-rounded roster, and also Bruce Brown's really been impressive as a playmaker. So shouts out to him. Outside of that, I guess Boston seems really good. Carson Edwards was just on one.
Right.
Also, Taco Fall's rumored to sign in Australia, so.
Okay.
Which, if he goes there, he's going to be like an impact starting center from day one just because he's so big.
Yeah.
And imagine if he goes to play for like, I don't know, with LaMelo Ball.
Right. Do you think Taco Fall might ever re-sign with an NBA team?
Well, I think he's gonna get stashed, and like he's gonna get drafted, but like he's gonna get quote unquote stashed, and he's gonna have like an agreement to come back to a certain team potentially.
Okay.
Because like he's not gonna go to an NBA team right now because no NBA team really needs that. Right. He's just not his game's not refined. But anyway, we have a bigger topic to talk about because we haven't really discussed it.
And that is
Russell Westbrook.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So there were reports that he was gonna be traded to Miami, and that kind of seemed fair. But then he got traded to Rockets. Yeah.
If he got traded to Miami, that would have been not good for Miami. But because
it kind of fits next to Jimmy Butler though.
It fits for like 2 years, and then their team falls apart because now they have no picks.
Right.
And like no young, because they would have to trade like Justice Winslow and Bam Adebayo to make that happen.
Right. I mean, the same thing kind of happened to the Rockets. Like, they gave a lot of picks up for him.
Yeah, but the difference is that they have James Harden.
Yeah.
Like the and also the Rockets are still gonna fall apart, but
Yeah. I think what's his name again? Clint Capella is like a better fit for Westbrook than Steven Adams in my opinion. So I guess
I think both of them are going to be bad fits for them. So and also Westbrook and Harden is going to be tough to figure out what to do with.
Wait, so what kind of big do you see fit next to Westbrook the best?
Not bigs that either teams have, but like in like any situation.
Yeah.
I guess Porzingis.
Right.
Either Porzingis or like Al Horford.
Right, okay.
But Porzingis is not reasonable, so Al Horford.
Okay. That's fair.
And they could have signed him. Well, the Rockets couldn't have, but like Other teams could have signed him. And him in Philadelphia is going to be interesting but nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, yeah, I think the Rockets are gonna struggle somewhat. Like, like it could work. Like Westbrook could be more efficient off the ball, and so could James Harden. But at the same time, yeah, I don't really see it working, and I think they're especially gonna kind of struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah, and especially because now you don't have a smart playmaker, you have a dumb playmaker next to Harden.
Pretty much, yeah. Like a
And
chaotic playmaker. More,
well,
yeah.
he's not a smart playmaker. He's
Right.
just what he does is he creates chaos and then he tries to pass out of his chaos. But like he's never going up the court with the intent to pass. He's going up the court with the intent to drive, and then he'll figure it out what he does on the go.
Right, yeah.
So, it's gonna be a tough scene, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets just like fall off in a couple years, and now they're just and then Harden leaves in like a few years, and then they're done. They have no future assets now.
Yeah, I could see that happen. Yeah. Um. Okay, so anything else from free agency that stands out to you?
Thinking about it. I guess Brooklyn. We
Yeah.
didn't talk about that, so Katie and Kyrie going to Brooklyn. We kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Because New York, I never believed that the rumors about the Knicks because I was like, they're such a trash organization. There's no way.
Yeah.
And they're not the Lakers, so they're not cool enough.
I think it's really funny that they signed DeAndre Jordan, which makes sense because KD wanted that, but everybody's hyping up to be like their
To be
third
like
piece of their big
a
three. Yeah.
defensive presence. I'm like, y'all are tripping so hard.
Yeah. And
No.
he's going to steal a bunch of minutes from Jared Allen, who's like a really good player.
Yes. But hey, if it means you get Katie and Kyrie, then I guess you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kemba, really quick.
Yeah.
Unsurprising, right? I mean, as soon as that option got picked, that turned down by Horford, and the Celtics weren't going to resign him, like, okay, well, obviously Kemba's going to Boston, because why would he choose Dallas?
It would have been cool if he had a meeting with Dallas, you know. But yeah.
Except he didn't even have a meeting, which is the
Yeah.
funny part.
I'm surprised by that.
I mean, it's really not surprising because you knew Boston was going to offer him a full max because they had so few other options.
Right. Yeah.
Also, shout out to Al Horford for getting that deal on a playoff team. So,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
outside of that,
D'Angelo Russell was kind of, yeah, he got was like a
he's on the
sign and trade.
Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, him on the Warriors is going to be so interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, can he cope with that pressure? Because you can have a lot of pressure on him.
I think he can.
Because he's never had the pressure to win like that before. Because he's going to be asked to come in on a team that has title expectations every season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be the like number one option, so at least that helps.
I know, but he's going to have the pressure to perform.
Yeah.
And like, sure, he's put up numbers before, but they weren't that efficient.
Right.
And
I mean, as soon as the playoffs start, Clay might start and D'Angelo might come off the bench. I think that might be okay, you know.
I think they're going to have to start Clay at 3.
Yeah, that could work too.
You need the shooting of Russell in that lineup.
Right.
Because what other options you have? Like, your other option is Alfonso McKinney.
Right. Jordan Poole is a decent shooter, I guess.
No, don't start Jordan Poole over D'Angelo Russell.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah.
And then, like, you have no other options. And then you'll start Draymond at 4, and then you start Looney at 5, and that's what you're going to do.
Not maybe Willie Cauley-Stein.
Looney's better.
Right. So what happened with him? Like he was supposed to be pretty good, and he was supposed to get paid this offseason.
Cauley-Stein?
Yeah.
What happened to him was he realized that he was not getting attention because he didn't try on defense.
Right.
And he's basically DeAndre if he didn't rebound.
Wow, that's bad.
That's what Kings fans say about him. And it's probably true because Kings fans usually know what they're talking about because they deal with enough suffering that they have to.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Um. So he's not gonna start for the Warriors.
I mean, he could.
Yeah.
He shouldn't. Whether he will is another question.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's entirely possible Willie Cauley-Stein looks like a beast on the Warriors because anybody can look like a beast on the Warriors. So,
Yeah. Exactly. I think for some reason he might play really well for the Warriors. Oh, also the Marcus Cousins going to the Lakers. Is that a good idea for the Lakers?
I mean, I guess. I mean, what other options do they have at that point?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same for the Mavs. So why didn't the Mavs go for Boogie?
Because they don't like him.
They don't?
No. He has character problems.
Right.
It's pretty well established Rick would tear his head off.
Right. I guess you're right. Yeah.
And then, like, also he would probably cause locker room problems with Porzingis, so.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Um. I guess that's pretty much it. Like so much happened, so we probably missed a lot. But
Eh, I don't know. I mean, I think we got pretty much all of it. Like, what else is there to talk about, honestly?
yeah, not that much, I guess. Oh, well, are the Mavs gonna make the playoffs?
Uh, maybe. Probably not.
Yeah, that's fair. Like the Kings and the Pelicans are around, and the Spurs are around the same amount of like good as the Mavs. Like they're basically just as good, and they're all gonna fight for like the eighth spot, I imagine.
Yeah, and the problem is that the Mavericks have they just don't have enough starters. So it's
Yeah,
entirely possible they just get into a lull because they have to rely on two players to generate so much offense.
yeah. How much games do you think KP might play? Like maybe not even more than like 60.
I think his minimum is 55, his max is 70.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that, and that could potentially be a problem. At the same time, I think starting Maxi and Dwight together in the time being that Porzingis is getting rest, it might work. Because they might get motivated because they have to step up or something. And they work together really well, so it could potentially work out.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it just kind of depends on how well Porzingis comes back and also what the rest of our pieces look like.
yeah,
That's like it, honestly, with the Mouse.
yeah. So like the Thunder fall out of the playoffs, right?
Potentially, it depends on what they do with Paul and Gallinari.
True. Yeah. Um. Let's see. The Rockets might get a lower seed than before, or around the same.
The Rockets, they'll probably get the same seed, maybe one higher.
Right. It's really weird because they could potentially like really work together and maybe get like the first or second seed, but it also could. I could see it happen where they get like the sixth or seventh seed, or maybe like the eighth.
Yeah, I mean, it can kind of go either way.
Yeah. It's really tough to predict this Western Conference from this year. Like I think the Lakers might have a low seed, like the seventh seed or something, but they might as well get like the second seed. Like it's tough.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like this obviously this next season can be really interesting because a lot of teams can kind of go all over the place and it's really unpredictable.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Like I'm really looking forward to it. Like basketball, because of like the Warriors and stuff, hasn't been like as much fun as it should have been. Like a lot of teams weren't even really competing and just tanking, basically. And now you're gonna have like a pretty good chance, even when you have like the seventh or eighth seed, and like a lot of teams are like around the same level of talent, and that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like it's gonna be fun, but we're also just going to suffer because I have a really strong feeling we're not gonna make the playoffs. So that's all I know. So we're gonna
True.
suffer.
Yeah.
Cause like here's the thing, right? This is one of those seasons where it might take 47 wins to make the playoffs in the West.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, all I'm kind of hoping personally is like that the Mavs have like interesting games in March. You know.
Yeah, well, interesting games that aren't because saw the measure he's scoring 30 points.
Yeah, exactly. Like important games in March that like could actually help them make the playoffs, even if they don't make it. You know.
What I want for the Mavs, honestly, is just less frustration. Just do
Yeah.
not. There's no more post ups just don't go from post ups to Wes Matthews to post ups with DeLon Wright.
Yeah, it could
Don't do
happen,
it.
and there's absolutely gonna be weird lineups. Like Tim
No,
Hardaway Jr. might start too
we-
much.
weird lineups are fine. Just
Okay.
just don't be stupid.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
start Justin Jackson.
Yeah, I hope not. I kind of prefer Dorian, and I hope he shoots
Wait.
better.
Dorian's a better basketball player for the Mavs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like that's why I prefer to start him, and I just hope he shoots better. You know.
Yeah, we all have to hope he shoots better.
Yeah.
Also, Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be so interesting. Honestly, if he can just be used like he was used in Atlanta, he'll be useful.
Yeah, you're right. He could be like in Atlanta. He was kind of a decent shooter, right?
Well, he was just asked to spot up. He wasn't
Right.
asked to do anything.
Right.
But
So
at the same time, Tim Hardaway would need to humble himself.
right.
And who knows if he can do that now with that money.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So how many weeks until the preseason starts? Like
Enough. Enough.
that's like late September, right?
The NBA preseason is not what matters right now. What matters is the W. That's what matters right now. So,
The WNBA.
yep, that's what matters right
Right.
now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said to you,
Yeah,
off.
I know. Yeah, obviously it's hard to keep. It was hard for you to keep up with. But I'm just saying, like in general, that is what matters right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's actually been really fun because usually there's no basketball in the summer, and now I found a way to watch basketball in the summer, and it's been really fun.
Yeah.
Also, the Women's European Cup is going on right now, I think, and I'm missing that.
Eurobasket. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. I thought it was over by now.
yeah, that
Actually.
could be true actually. Yeah, I don't really know what happens actually because I was planning to watch the WNBA games and I missed before it, and now I've kind of missed the whole tournament. But that's okay.
I
I'll watch it next
I
time, I guess.
I think Spain won. I could be wrong.
That could be right. Yeah.
But
Apparently
in terms,
Belgium is really good usually, and I'm
yeah,
really surprised with that.
they are really good. But
Yeah.
I did want to say really quickly, the Dallas Wings have been much better as of late.
Okay.
Uh, the
That's
biggest
cool.
problem is Arike was taking too many shots, way too many, and finally she's under control. So and she's playing the best basketball of the entire season for herself right now. So that's nice to see. Kayla Thornton is weird because she sometimes takes just way too many threes. Like she took 7 threes last game. She didn't need to do that. And she hit 1 of 7. Like she's not a bad shooter. She just is not a volume shooter. I don't know
Right.
why they ask her to take that many. And then Alicia Gray's inconsistently used. Like sometimes she'll get like 8 shots and sometimes she'll get like 4. And I'm like, why is she only taking 4 shots? She's way too good for that. But oh no, they've been better. And they actually were pretty competitive against the Sky until the third quarter when it all fell apart. So they only lost by 10, so I'll take it. And they're about to go on the road and play a back-to-back on the road, so that's fun.
Cool. Yeah, I still have to catch up. So yeah, it's unfortunate that I can't really uh, talk about it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating right now because I wish they could be better. And so like both of the teams in Dallas are kind of disappointing, but we'll see how it turns out because at least the Mavs have hope and the Wings have youth.
For sure.
But like that's everything, man. This has been a long off season and now like a long period of like even with the Wings games, it's like there's only like 1 or 2 games a week, so you're just a lot of time we're just like, I'm in this weird period of stagnation.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I guess that's everything. So you wanna let people know where they can find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at MaxScouts. You can find my podcast, Third Round Picks, on pretty much anywhere you listen to a podcast. And then you can find my work on LockDraft.com and the DallasProspect.com. That's pretty much everything right now. This off season, this not completely off season, but this has been so long. This time period has been long, so I'm kind of tired right now. So.
Yeah, I feel you. You can check me out at Mavericks Monta, my basketball account on Twitter. And here on YouTube, Mav-Zero. I'll put links from Max in the description from his latest podcast and his Twitter and stuff, and you can find him there. And I guess that's it. So this has been episode 6 of the Too Much Monday podcast, and that's it.
Yep.
I got too much Monte.
Monte Ellis, ask the fellas who talk trash because they jealous. Laid back from the south, trying to hack up, I'll make you shut your mouth.